So let's take a look at Rogue with their statistic distribution. There are really two types of rogues, more of a finesse fighter and more of a powerhouse. With the finesse fighter, you'll want to focus on dexterity and cunning. You'll be using lighter weapons, and that'll really benefit you in the long run. With more of a powerhouse character, you'll want to actually focus on dexterity and strength, again allowing you to wear heavier armors and wield the larger weapons. There are two primary builds for rogues, the Ranger and the Striker. The Ranger will be standing at the back of the combat line, dishing out death from a distance, while the Striker will often be circling around behind foes and hitting as hard as they possibly can with backstabs. Let's take a look at the Archer. The Archer is a perfect character for a rogue that's focused on cunning, because it allows you to actually take the talent lethality right there in the rogue tree to actually replace cunning in all the calculations that would normally use strength to determine damage. As a result, you can build a character that's much more focused on wits and making sure they get criticals than a character who's big and brawny. Adding to that, you can also use that cunning to your advantage to pick up the deft hands line. This allows you to deal with both traps and locks, meaning you'll be opening more chests, pulling more treasure, getting more money for your group. Of course, we want to make sure we're down in the archery tree. There, one of the key things you want to build towards is Master Archer. It gives a buff to every one of your archery abilities and causes you to actually draw faster when you're firing in the main line. As well, an early pickup, one thing you want to make sure you have is, of course, melee archer. So if something hits you up close, you're not going to be interrupted. When we look at the highlight items, all the rest have good situational purposes, but Arrow of Slaying is by far the best mage killer out there. The Archer is going to be able to deal with them, often in a single shot. Now let's take a look at the Striker, a different type of rogue that really excels up close and preferably behind their opponent. A Striker typically is going to want to focus on elements that make their melee attacks better. You'll want to pick up coup de grace in the rogue tree. It means that if the enemy is stunned for any reason, whether it's something you did or possibly an ice spell from a mage, you're going to start backstabbing, which means you can do maximum damage. As well, the dual weapon talent tree is going to work out very well for you, and all the way up at dual weapon master, you're actually able to wield two large weapons, meaning you can have double long swords. Other elements to keep track of are riposte, which allows you to stun your foe, which again opens up an opportunity for coup de grace, or the dual weapon striking, which you should actually be monitoring. Whenever it's active and they're up in your face, you can actually hit with both weapons at once. The moment they turn their back, turn it off and you'll start backstabbing again. With rogues, I'm going to detail for you one of the most obscure quests in the game, which can result in some amazing rogue armor. First off, when you find yourself in a dragon caverns, I won't spoil for you where it is, but I'll tell you might be searching for an ancient relic. You will get a good chance to face a number of drakes. Make sure you loot their bodies. In total, you're looking for 6 drake scales. Catherine's gathered all of the drake scales, and she's come to Denram, to the Market District. This is where you can find Wade's Emporium, Wade being one of the best armor smiths in all of Ferelden. Wade's more than happy to turn your drake scales into leather armor for your party. He'll actually work on 2 different suits, and when you come, make sure you bring a lot of money. If you can afford to pay Wade extra, he'll take extra time and learn more about it, and this can be a long-term investment. Once you've got dragon scales, come back to Wade, and the more practice he's had working with drake scales, the more effective he'll be when he builds plate armor out of those dragon scales for your party, and the better the armor will result. Not wanting to leave our ranged rogue hanging, we've come back to the Brazilian forest. Here you'll face one of the tougher battles in the heart of the ruins, where you'll find in this room a dragon waiting to deal with you. Once you've dealt with the beast, you'll find its hoard tucked in the back of the room. Make sure you loot it. It's full of money, gems, and the most powerful bow in the game. It's right here. Falandin's Reach comes not only with extra damage, but rapid aim, increasing the speed at which you're able to shoot.